yeah, yeah.
That's like, because trying to explain it to people, it's just easier to show the picture, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, oh, okay, yeah, I get it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that stops.
Oh, because the video is only so long.
It was like 7 minutes.
It's been only 7 minutes. What would we do?
Can you? Is there a setting to loop it? Right click on it. Right click on the source down in the. Yeah. Or click on media. I'll figure it out for next time. Oh, I know how we can do the thing better. I can load in the video and the audio separately, and then just have the
Video
engine
just playing.
just playing, and put that can go on a loop, and then the audio can go on a loop.
Yeah, and we should yeah, because we could have background music anyways.
Yeah.
Which we need to look into. I think we're good.
Oh, it stopped again. Restart it. Restart it.
Picture of what it is. This is octopus Yestercon. Me and Junior both like, I totally forgot about it. You see, so he's like, oh my god, like. Bam!
It's dope, right?
It's dope.
I spent like 20 minutes making that thing earlier today, and
That's
it
awesome.
just like it puts a smile on my face just because I like the music. It's
Yeah.
the music.
It's gonna be the
like-
perfect malfunction scene. Like I really hope like this painting
It's
falls.
exactly a breakthrough. You're like,
So yeah. Anyways, welcome.
Yeah, thank you for joining us, whoever is here. We are here tonight. Myself, Josh, and
me, Brian.
I'm gonna
Brian
do that
Kenny.
thing because apparently that's the thing now where
Biganso.
like in the videos that you do for like that hashtag show, you notice how like people are here like I'm blah blah blah, I'm with, and they just kind of like wait for you.
Yeah.
So funny.
Yeah. So yeah, welcome to another Channel 42. This is episode 4.
4 weeks in a row, baby.
Yes, we did it. We're
1 month in.
1 month. Wow.
Oh, it's our 1 month anniversary.
I
I
heard
didn't
today's
do anything. I'm sorry.
I heard today's girlfriend day.
Is it really?
National Girlfriend Day.
All right, let's move on.
Moving on.
So today we're going to talk about a few different things. The main discussion is going to be about Star Trek Beyond, the third in the rebooted universe, J.J. Abrams verse, I guess is what they're calling it. We saw that this past weekend in Barco Escape, which is a new like 3-screen thing.
Yeah.
But we'll get to that a little bit later. We're going to talk about Pokemon Go because that's still it's still a big thing.
Touch on our weekly stories.
You went to Yestercon
Yesterday.
Yesterday you went to Yestercon.
Yesterday I went to Yestercon.
So
Keeping my childhood dreams alive.
how was that?
That was cool. We'll talk about that. And then what else?
What else we got?
The Killing Joke came out last week.
Oh right.
Last Tuesday. And we'll touch on that as well.
Yeah, we got interviews with some of the voice cast at Comic-Con.
Oh dang! And they got a heavy-hitting cast too.
Yeah,
Kevin
Conroy's
Kevin
back for
Conroy,
Batman.
Batman.
He's my Batman. Like he's definitely like when I think about like the past 25 years of Batman.
Yeah.
You know, I like Michael Keaton. I liked Val Kilmer as Bruce Wayne. George Clooney, I liked him as Bruce Wayne. Christian Bale was okay, but personally, I like Kevin Conroy, even though he was.
I
a
do
cartoon.
too. It's like I grew up hearing him as Batman.
Yeah,
and of course Mark Hamill, like like his interview, how he just mentions, he should have a laugh for every emotional state he is in, whether he's sad, happy, whatever, and it's just so.
And
I just love
what's funny to me is that you listen to Mark Hamill as Luke Skywalker, and then you listen to him as the Joker, and it's completely like you can hear a little bit of Hamill in there, but not a whole lot.
Yeah. So well, let's start at the top of the list.
Yeah, Daniel, I see you there asking a question. We'll get to that a little bit later. We're going to talk about Star Trek Beyond at the end of the show.
Yeah, towards the end, because everyone like comes in wanting to know what our title subject is, and we end up talking about it. We ended up talking about it first.
and then we kind of trail off. We're like, all right, where do we go from here?
This time we'll do it last.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about Pokemon Go.
Yeah, our weekly Pokemon Go story. Like, what is your story of the week kind of thing.
Yeah, so Brian, let's start with you, because you said that you had an interesting experience with that last night.
Yeah, I didn't really... I'm not playing as much as before. It's very casual. But
I'm going to interrupt you. What level are you?
I am 16, almost 17.
Okay, I just hit 19.
Ooh, congrats.
I did that this morning, last night, somewhere around there. Just like, because I'm just going through and I'm like, okay, what can I evolve? I've got enough candy for that thing, I'll evolve that. That's like 500 points right there. I know you're supposed to do it with the lucky egg, because that doubles it, and like the whole Pidgey grinding thing.
Yeah.
But I don't have time for that. Yeah. So I'm just like, all right.
Me either. It's just like every once in a while if I happen to have some.
Yeah, me playing, like, I'll be walking around the office. I'm like, all right, what can I find that's in this area? Because out in front of our office, there's a Pokestop, so I can just do that. And then there's a gym like a block and a half up, so that's not too bad.
See, at this point for me, it's like, I'll remember when I'm with friends who are doing it. When I see someone else checking, I was like, oh yeah, then I'll check.
Yeah, yeah.
Or maybe like,
there'll be a group of people standing around.
Yeah.
That's what amazes me the most about this is that one person will have it open, and then you just see everyone be like, oh, what Pokemon do you have? Oh, what level are you? Oh, what team are you? And like all of a sudden you've got like 10 people that are all standing around going, oh, there's Pokemon here. We gotta catch this thing.
Yeah.
It's great, I guess, because it's bringing people together.
And I have a story about this though. Like my only story is yesterday. After Yestercon, actually, we went to go eat at a restaurant called BJ's, and like everyone was like looking at their phone. And I was like, oh yeah, I'll check my phone. And I was like, oh, there's a Charizard here, and it was at the very top.
Oh wait, a Charizard.
Charizard. I was like, oh, and Joe was like, oh, is that Charizard? I was like, yeah, that's Charizard. He's like, really, Charizard? Yeah, the dragon, Charizard. And then I was like, oh, and I was like, oh, it's with us. It's like so close. So I ran outside the restaurant to see if I could find where it is.
What have you done the update yet?
I did.
So
there's no steps now.
Yeah, now the new update, there's no steps, so you don't know how far away something is. You just see that it's there, so you have to go by like that weird grid. Yeah. You're like, all right, well, it's number 1 on the grid, so I guess it's close.
Yeah.
But like, I don't even know how accurate that is because like they don't send out any updates. They're not like, hey, this is what's going on with Pokemon Go right now.
They just want us to figure it out. So yeah, I went outside to check real quick. I was like, I'll just see if I get closer or not, or if he happens to pop up. And of course, like half the people outside, this was at the mall, were also on their phones looking at it, and everyone's like, "Where?" I could hear them too. Like,
right.
Where is it? Where is it? I think it's a Charizard. Like, oh, they got rid of the stats. And I hear all these things. And I was just like, wow, it's still happening. And this time I was seeing like families, like adults with their like toddlers who were playing, and I was like,
that's
wow,
so
like. I was seeing older people playing than I
saw
before.
I saw a mother, like, what I'm assuming it was a mother anyway, like walking her kid in the stroller, and she had her phone out, like, like on the stroller. She's like, so, like, I guess that's a thing now.
I guess a lot more people have volunteered to take their dogs on walks and stuff now.
Yeah, I mean, there's services now, like, there's kennels, or not kennels, but like, like shelters. They're like, hey, if you want to play Pokemon Go and get your steps in, come walk our dogs. What?
Yeah, that was cool. I saw that going around on Facebook.
Yeah. What's your highest powered thing right now?
My highest powered thing is, let's look it up.
Oh, I got you off guard.
I think it is actually.
Pull mine up.
I think it's just barely 2,000.
That's you're beating me then. Was that from an evolution, or did you power it up using Stardust?
It was from a. Oh no, my highest is 12,021 Lapras.
I think I might just barely be beating you.
Can you guys see that?
I
got that from an egg, and it was like so far up on, it has that arch?
Yeah.
It was so far towards the end, I just started leveling up everything I could, and like I barely got to
Nice. So mine, I've got a CP 1348.
Oh, you beat me.
Is that now? How do you pronounce that? Is it Arcanine or is it Arcanine?
Arcanine, I would.
Arcanine.
Because they're always playing on words.
Right.
And it's
a
canine.
So I don't know if that's gonna come up at all. No, not so much. But
I'm water, so I would probably still beat it.
Probably, because I was fighting a Vaporeon like last night that was like 300 CP less than this guy.
Yeah. And
it still got my ass kicked.
Jeez. Well, yeah, the weaknesses and strengths.
Yeah.
Well, they finally, speaking of Vaporeon, they finally nerfed it.
Yeah, well, that came in this update.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was doing, what, 2 attacks at once?
Yes. There was people didn't realize that one of its abilities was triggering 2 attacks at once, basically. Yeah, and all the gyms had Vaporeons.
Yeah, that's that.
But it's cool that they patched it so quick. So now people are back in
because it's been out for what, 3 weeks now.
Yeah,
and they just patched it, so that's kind of cool.
And it just got more. It's only been maybe a week or two that.
And I don't know. I don't know who put this video out, but there was one that I saw last week where they were like debunking different like Pokemon like myths about the game, like about how this means that and that means this, and one of them was that you can't get your ball back because like people kept saying, if you tap on your ball you can get it back, you don't have to lose it if you don't capture the Pokemon, like if it goes off in a random direction.
Yeah.
And I was playing with it this morning, and I was holding the screen for some reason because someone was talking to me, and I just put my hand back down on the screen. I glanced down, and I saw the Pokeball, like, it pulled back. So, like...
Oh, it pulled back?
Yeah, so, like, it was, like, far out, like, way past where the Pokemon was, and then all of a sudden, it was like it was on a rubber band, and it just, like, snapped back to me.
Oh.
So...
I've never seen one do that.
Yeah, so we actually do get them back.
Huh. Because I heard you can get them back, and I thought it was from tapping it.
That's
what
I
saw. They were
too.
rolling, and I hit on it, and it disappears. Like, I got it.
Yeah,
I never.
You gotta look at your number.
I never tried looking at the number.
Yeah. So I guess that's kind of cool. That is a thing. I haven't been able to get it to work every time though.
Yeah. Oh, hey, Cutie Pie, welcome to the broadcast.
Oh, and just so you guys know, if you see people talking that you don't see, we're broadcasting on both Africa and on YouTube. So you might hear us responding to people that are in the YouTube or in the Africa chat that you don't see, and vice versa. So sorry if that gets confusing.
Yeah, I guess I'll start addressing it as like Africa chat. Cutie Pie says.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
And I'm gonna take my glasses off because I see a weird glare in there. So if I squint, I'm sorry.
So should we go on to the Killing Joke?
Yeah, let's talk about the Killing Jokes.
Right.
Now I haven't seen it yet, and you have seen part of it or the trailer for it, or you saw what have you seen so far?
So just a quick recap for those who don't know. It was just released last Tuesday on the 26th.
Right, because we were at Comic, like I mentioned before, we were at Comic-Con. We got that was where they premiered it theatrically. They actually showed it in like a movie theater.
And I heard some people were upset because some things were different, and I wasn't sure what it was because I didn't really read into it and I didn't want to get spoiled by it.
Right.
So I started to watch it yesterday. For those who don't know what the Killing Joke is, can you explain why it's so significant in Batman's story? Well, it was a graphic novel.
Yeah, it was a graphic novel. I want to say I really want to say Frank Miller wrote it.
I want to say that too.
But like I have an itchy thing in the back of my head saying no, I'm wrong, but I know I'm right. So it's like one of those weird things. Yeah. So written by Frank Miller, and it was. I don't remember whether it was before or after The Dark Knight.
It was.
I want to say it was before.
I want to say it's before.
Yeah,
it's before.
Because people talk about that a lot because of how dark it was, and that it was a different take on the character of Batman. That you see him doing things in that book that he doesn't do in like the normal everyday Batman life. Mm-hmm. And this story is kind of the same, which is something that Frank Miller is known for. Is
Oh, you're right. It wasn't Frank Miller. It's Alan Moore.
Yeah, I knew that. I was right that I was wrong.
You're right that you're wrong. It's close. They're both high caliber writers with.
But so now everything I was talking about is. But so Frank Miller did that stuff. Alan Moore had this, which was similar in tone, I guess. But so it was significant because of the lengths that the Joker went to.
Mm-hmm. Africa chat. Hi, Bomi. Welcome. So yeah, the thing that I never read the books, but what I know from it that's so famous is the fact that the Joker paralyzes Batgirl.
Right.
Jim Gordon's daughter, who was Batgirl, and then he ends up kidnapping the second Robin.
Right.
Todd.
Jason Todd. No, it wasn't Jason Todd. It was
Oh gosh.
I was just talking about this earlier today.
I get them mixed up.
Tim Drake.
Right? So this...
Maybe?
Was Tim Drake the one that ended up using guns?
So we got Dick Grayson, Tim Drake.
Dick Grayson was
the... Jason Todd. Daniel, if you're still watching, I know you're going to know this. So you can tell us. Anyway, so
Joker captures him. He's tormenting Batman and leads him through stuff and basically beats him to death, and he kills Robin. And
yeah, because he'll kill Robin. He
needs
Batman. He needs Batman to stay alive, but
Yeah,
he'll kill Robin.
but he like straight up killed Robin, like haha, like almost like he's mocking Batman. You can't kill me because you need me, but I'm gonna kill your boy Wonder, and he's gonna turn into a disgruntled, bitter man, which was supposed to be explained for Batman v Superman why he was so like, I've had it.
Right, which we kind of got a glimpse of because you see in Batman v Superman, you see the suit,
The Robin suit,
the Robin suit with jokes on you.
Yeah, jokes on you.
Which we're assuming was the lead up to that, but now like people are saying that the Joker. I mean, not just now, but like everyone's Jason Todd. Like it's like, oh, that's really Jason Todd. Oh no, that's really. Jason
Oh yeah,
Todd.
like in Suicide Squad,
Yeah.
like the reason Joker looks so different.
Yeah, so now
I think it's far fetched. I think most of us don't really think that, but people were stretching. They're like, oh, maybe that was Jason Todd. He came back to life. Like, pissed off and.
But I don't know because Jason Todd was the Red Hood, right?
Yes, he came back as a Red Hood.
Yeah, so it's not going to be the Joker.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah. So yeah,
I don't know.
So this movie finally came out. I'm excited because I never read the book, and I was like, all right, I'm going to see this animated. I started watching it yesterday. The animation's great. It's really cool. I was surprised that the story was focused so much on Batgirl and her apparent crush with Batman.
Yeah, because that wasn't a thing in the original comic book.
And I was like, wait, I don't really remember this being an important part about Killing Joke, let alone them having a one-night stand. And I was like, oh, what? And
there's been a lot of people who have been pissed off about that.
And like, I'm not like pissed. I'm like, oh, okay, that's very like the way
it's different, right?
The dialogue and stuff was very modern, casual sex and all that. And then. And the emotional, Batman's trying to make her, no, don't come, you gotta see Steve. He's like, but I didn't let you go.
Since you've seen that part of it, let me ask you, does it feel like it was forced in there? Because, like, I get that a lot of people might not enjoy that because, like, there's this whole thing with women just being in these movies as a source of that.
Yeah.
And
I think that's probably,
but...
where people are getting upset.
Yeah, I mean...
But it's like, does every single woman have to be a Wonder Woman,
Right, but at the same time, does that really have to be there?
There's girly boys too, and there's tough guys too. The same as women, there's all shades.
But like, did that add to the story?
I thought I didn't, well here's the thing, I didn't finish it.
Okay.
I got about 2/3 in, and I'll get to why I did. I kind of got, anyways, and then I think it adds to this movie, considering where it's going. It adds to the emotions of it.
Okay.
And how I don't know how it ends, but it could play on, these types of emotions are what causes people to make actions that lead to mistakes, or allowing Joker to mess with Batman to that extent.
Right.
The reason I stopped was I was really excited to see Robin getting tormented by Joker. I just had to see it, right? And I'm going through the movie. I'm past the halfway point, and I was like, I have not seen Robin yet. So I was like, what the hell? Where's Robin? And I clicked ahead a few scenes to look, and I didn't see Robin yet. I was like, wait, did they totally get rid of that part? That was like the biggest part of the Killing Joke, I thought. The fact that Joker beats Robin to death with a crowbar and just leaves him there bloody dead for Batman to find.
Right.
But
it's not there.
I don't know. I didn't see any
all
right. So I was kind of like, so then I went to bed because I was getting late. I was like, well, I'll finish it.
All right. So so here's what we'll do. You'll finish that this coming up week. I'll watch it. I'll finish it this coming up week. And then
I would have bought a freaking book.
I mean, we're going to talk about obviously Suicide Squad next week, but we can kind of wrap some of that into it too.
Mm-hmm. Sounds good. So yeah, we'll watch that.
So I'm looking forward to it. Like I know, like I said, a lot of people have issues with that aspect of it with Batgirl and the Batman love story thing, but I'll still give it a chance because I really like Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill.
Yeah, so I got to give praise to that. The voice acting, Kevin Conroy, Mark Hamill. The animation was on point too. I saw the trailer and I was a little
wary of animation. Like it looks different. Like they've been doing a really good job with the DC animated stuff of not making it all look the same. Like
yeah, that's
like,
actually
a
cool.
lot of the different things have had like their own different style. Like DC Superhero Girls doesn't look the same as like what the last Justice League animated movie does. This the Killing Joke. I don't know if this takes place in the same continuity as the Justice League stuff that they're doing right now, but it looks different than
It seems
that stuff.
it seems to be standalone or almost separate.
Right.
Like they didn't. There was nothing. It was like its own story, its own package, kind of like the graphic novel, I believe.
Right, yeah. So I like that DC's doing that because Marvel's animated movies, like their direct-to-DVD stuff, not as good as DC. DC definitely winning there.
Yeah, I've been enjoying DC because of those animated movies, like Justice League War.
Yeah, Justice League War was really good.
So funny.
I haven't seen Throne of Atlantis yet. I've heard that one wasn't as good as some of the others, but I liked Flashpoint.
Flashpoint was fun
that
too.
was great.
Son of Batman was awesome.
That was
seeing
good, yeah.
what was it, the third Robin, fourth Robin?
Yeah,
Damian Wayne. What a little badass.
The last one, Bad Blood. I wasn't so into that one.
I started watching.
It was okay. It was okay, but it wasn't. It was.
I need to rewatch that one. I was kind of like half watching that while
Doing other stuff. Yeah, definitely been there before.
But yeah, that's.
So let's.
Yeah, we can talk about Robins another time. But Damian Wayne, what a little badass.
Yeah.
Raised by League of Assassins.
And the kid that does his voice sounds like a little bitch too, so it's great. And I've met that kid too.
Really?
Like the kid's great. We met him at WonderCon. So we did like the red carpet press like interviews for Bad Blood, and the kid is really cool. But like he's got that voice that's just like, oh, I want to punch that kid in the face just because of his voice. But like when you talk to the kid, you're like, you're a really smart little kid.
Yeah, that's why like I don't really like brats and stuff, but I was just laughing that he was like talking crap to Batman. Like when he finally met him, he was sitting there with his arms crossed. He's like, huh, I thought you'd be taller. And he was like disappointed.
Yeah.
He's like, Batman. He's like, you're nothing. And he's just like, he's probably killed more people than Batman has in his entire life.
Oh yeah,
Batman's trying to tell him, hey, you don't have to.
Batman doesn't kill people. Yeah. He just doesn't save them.
Whatever. So, all right, moving on.
You want to talk about Yestercon?
Yestercon, yeah.
Now this one I didn't get to go to. I got stuck having to work yesterday, so
this was a very small, intimate convention that was actually in Carson City. This is they've had it for 2 years now.
Okay.
And there really wasn't that many people. It was very small. It was like $10 to get in.
That's not bad at all.
Yeah, but the theme was, as you can see in the tagline up here, keeping your childhood rad, was basically about all the 80s and 90s, late
like
70s.
nostalgia stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, cartoons, comics, toys that we all grew up with that were so much better than the junk that exists now. And DJ and I doing Throwback Thursdays, we thought, what better place than for me than to check out Yestercon. It was cool. It was cool seeing a bunch of the old nostalgia stuff, all the old Nintendo cartridges and consoles. They had some old cabinets there. They had a Donkey Kong Championship.
Oh, nice.
They had a Nintendo Championship. What was it called? The Nintendo Championship, that game? Nintendo Championship tournament?
Yeah.
They had like a little mini cosplay contest. They had some celebrity guests there. They had Dante, who played, he was in The Hook as Rufio.
Dante Bosco?
Yeah. We got to meet him. He's a cool guy, down to earth.
Yeah, I see him at a lot of like the Funimation events.
He's also the that Prince in Avatar?
Yeah.
Fire Nation, I believe. And then
he does a lot of voice acting now.
We also got to meet Kirk Fogg, who was the host for Legends of the Hidden Temple on Nintendo.
You were supposed to talk to him in San Diego.
Yeah.
We ended up not being able to do that, so I'm glad that happened now though.
Yeah, we got to talk to him. Jasmine got to interview him. It was pretty cool. He was so down to earth. As well as Phil Moore, who hosted Nick Arcade.
Yeah.
If you remember, that was like back then. That was like high tech because people were doing like green screen stuff.
Yeah, well, and that's where back
then it wasn't even green screen.
They had the kids on the the power pad. Is that what it was called?
Yeah.
And they had to do the thing where they were like catching the butterflies.
Yeah.
Oh man, I remember that.
So
show.
Jasmine did a little interview with both of them at the same time. They're so cool. They're so funny. I got a picture with them. You can find it tagged on me on Instagram or Facebook. And yeah, what was funny was Phil Moore explained that that being really high tech for the time, a lot of the times when they produced the show, they were sitting there waiting for technical malfunctions to get together. So you can imagine there's like takes going on and on. Like, it didn't trigger. It didn't trigger. It didn't trigger. And he was joking. That was actually a big part of it. Was messing with the new tech.
Do you remember? This is off topic a little bit.
Yeah.
But on topic. There was a show. I can't remember what it was called. There were like all these kid shows, like when we were kids, they had game shows, and one of them was maybe it was called Tattletales, where it was a brother and sister that were on a team, and they had to answer questions about each other, and if they won, they got to go through like this prize like circle type thing. Like it was almost like a maze where they could go through and they could grab like there were bikes and there was like a Nintendo and there was a bunch of other stuff.
I've never seen that.
But the basic concept of it was that you were tattling on your brother or your sister about like these different like questions that.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I've never seen that.
They would get sent to the. I might be combining a bunch of shows together too, because there was that one, and then there was one where they would be like sent to the cone of silence. So
the cone of silence.
Because they would ask the sister a question, but the brother couldn't hear it, so that when they brought him back around, they could ask him to see if his answers matched with her answers, or
it was like almost like one of those like.
It's like a match kit.
Yeah. So there was all nostalgia of shows like that and toys. Like one of the toys, like there were toys I saw that I totally forgot about that existed. Like the old, even the old like wrestling toys even that were just solid rubber.
Oh yeah.
And like those things were heavy, and I was like, oh, I remember this. Like you could just like throw those around. Toys that had caps in it. I was like, oh, that wouldn't fly now. Like, oh, it's too dangerous.
Last time I went to my mom's place, which was a while ago now, I found my old Tonka truck.
Oh yeah.
Like like this was a metal like dump, like it was a legit dump truck for kids, but it was like hard.
It was, I remember it was solid metal.
Yeah, I could throw these things down the stairs, and they'd be fine.
Yeah.
Like now you do that with a toy, and it's gonna come back in like pieces.
Yeah.
Or it's all plastic. This was.
Or one kid will get cut, and then they sue the company.
Yeah.
And it's like.
Oh yeah, I probably cut myself in that thing a lot.
So yeah, there was I saw Silverhawks. I don't know if you remember that cartoon.
That was that the one that had it was the same voices as Thundercats, right?
Probably. It was definitely the same like
Rankin Bass.
It was like the similar animation studio. It seemed like because it was the same style, but it was like they were like in space, like almost like space cowboys.
Yeah, because the guy that did the voice of Lino was again the leader in this.
I saw those old school lunchboxes, that we used to have, and then they had the Silverhawks. I was like, what the hell? And then me and the producer Junior, we were looking at it like, oh, I remember that. And there was like this weird octopus like motorcycle ride or like scooter thing.
I vaguely remember that. Like I would have to see it.
Yeah, it was one of those things that like you would not remember unless you saw it. And Junior and I were like, whoa. I was like, I have not thought about that in like 20 years. I was like, that is crazy. And I think that was a fun factor for a lot of people, just seeing and connecting and rejoicing in their childhood. There's definitely a lot of parents bringing their kids there.
Right.
Compared to other cons, I felt like it was more of a family-oriented con.
More like, hey, let's look at what I did when I was a kid.
Yeah. It's like, these are the toys I had. How cool is this? It's this.
And were the kids bored, or were the kids going like, oh,
they're
so cool?
They had a great time. Yeah, you could tell the kids were just like, wow, like these toys are awesome.
Because like I could see kids being like, was it Elijah Wood in Back to the Future, where Marty McFly is like, oh man, I used to be really good at this game.
Yeah.
And the kid walks in, he's like, you gotta use your hands.
Yeah, I know, right? Like, Even now, like we're playing games with like touchscreen,
Yeah.
and then like
And
the
you
VR
like,
we had,
yeah,
like,
like could you
our
imagine
kids are gonna be
showing?
making fun of us, like,
Right?
what? You guys had to move that much to play?
Could you
I
imagine
use
showing
my mind.
someone like like 8-bit games are kind of coming back to like a hipster like just like indie thing.
I'm realizing I just have this fetish
But-
for pixels.
Could you like 20 years from now? Could you imagine showing like a 10-year-old Pong?
Oh, they would be like, so what is
Wait,
this?
it's a line and a dot.
Like, so is this like, is this like,
This is broken.
yeah, I don't know, like, is this saying when the door's gonna open? Is it the elevator thing? Like, you know,
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
this
yeah.
thing is
I
like
have
some
no idea
little
what it is.
indicator.
Or like breakout, where it's like, all right, so the goal of this is you bounce the ball, you hit the bricks, and you break the bricks.
Yeah.
And this was fun.
And what's funny is, like, you can't replace fun factor. I was having this conversation with someone the other day, and I was explaining why I really enjoyed the game Doom, and I was like, because it was just fun. They didn't try to explain why you can hold 15 rifles or this or that.
Right. It's
It
like
was fun factor. And remember when game reviews used to have fun factor as a
Yeah.
category?
there was. So do you remember a game called Secret of Monkey Island or The Curse of Monkey Island?
Yes. I never played it, but
it was
pretty famous.
LucasArts. It was
Yeah.
one of their games. And it was a point and click adventure. So like there'd be like dialogue. Oh, well, let me choose that dialogue option or that dialogue option. Let me walk that way or go that way.
Mhm.
But then one of the big things was puzzles. So it'd be like, all right, so you have to collect all these things and then figure out how to use them in combination with each other, or
Yeah.
where to use them, or who to give them to in order to get to the next part of the game.
Mhm.
So as you progress through the game, your inventory, okay, so now you've got, like a cup for grog, and now you've got an oar for a raft, and now you've got a 10-foot ladder, and now you've got a sheep, and now you've got like a bag of rice, and now you've got a disembodied head. Yeah, and it's just like all these things, and you're looking through your inventory, and like eventually it gets to the point where he's like, all right, so I need to get one of these things out. So he like opens up his pants, he reaches down, and just like pulls out like an oar, and it's like, all right, so that's how he keeps all this stuff. It's all in
Magic
his
pants. It's got magic pants.
So that was like one of those in jokes, because it's true, because like now with games you have a limit on your inventory.
Yeah, they
They're
try
like,
to make it so realistic.
Yeah.
It messes
It's
with
like
the
you can
gameplay.
only
Or the fun
have
factor.
15 things in your inventory.
Yeah.
You can only have 20 things in your inventory. But games like this, it was just like, no, I could totally have an alligator and a sheep in my pants.
Yeah. In my pants. And it was a comedic game too.
Yeah, yeah.
It played with
That was the best. There was, I think it was the third one, The Curse of Monkey Island, where like there was a skull that you carried around. His name was Murray, and you have conversations with Murray about where you needed to go.
I've heard of that.
And he was just like, Murray! I'm like,
some comic relief.
it was so funny. Those are good games. And I think you can get those all on Steam now.
Yes.
I think there's like the LucasArts collections where like you can go and you can get like the Secret of Monkey Island and like Indiana Jones and like the what is it, the Fate of Atlantis.
Yeah.
Was that one of them? I know there was the Last Crusade. The Dig. Full Throttle, which was another one of those like fun ones about the guy in the motorcycle.
Yeah.
Maniac Mansion.
Oh wow, you played all of those.
I'm old. I like when I was playing these games, they were on like 3.5-inch floppies.
Dude,
I remember there was one game like we got it.
I remember you have to run Windows, or I had to run Doom.
Yeah.
Or whatever
yeah.
the old game.
We had upgraded and gotten a CD-ROM drive for our computer, and there was a game called Loom, which was really cool. It was also LucasArts. LucasArts had like all the best like point and click like adventure old school like American RPG games.
Mm-hmm.
But this one called Loom that when we first got it, it was on like 12 3.5-inch floppy disks. And then we got the CD-ROM drive, and it was fully orchestrated. Like there was a full score, and there were voiceovers for it, which it didn't have before. And it wasn't high def, but like it was now like VGA graphics instead of CGA or whatever the hell that was. That was like 16 color. Went from 16 colors to 256 colors.
Gosh.
And now I sound really old.
yeah, now we got a 32-bit system.
But I can see it. But like that's I bet that's like a lot of stuff that you were seeing at
Oh, yeah.
Yestercon. Was just like, man, I remember when this was a thing.
Yeah, there was one thing
And now
I gained a new quest
now
from
it's
it.
dated.
Yeah. Speaking of dated relics, like at Yestercon, I was determined. Like I said, I was determined to get a power glove. I was like, I need a power glove. I always wanted a power glove.
I never
but
had one of them, and then I started to hear that like they were kind of cool, but like the more you wore it, like the glove would stretch out, and you would like it would lose its sensitivity, and you couldn't do things as well.
Yeah, I never had one, but it's just such an iconic thing. I was like, it would look good on my bookshelf.
Like
I was like, I just gotta get one.
Or the Virtual Boy.
Virtual Boy, dude.
Now like Galaxy Gear is a thing, which again, the Galaxy Gear headsets that you put your phone into. It's basically what a Virtual Boy was.
Yeah, Nintendo,
they
like
innovating 20 times better.
Yeah.
Do you remember
that thing gave people headaches?
Do you remember the U-Force? Which it looked like a laptop, and it had like infrared sensors, and you just like put your hands in the middle of it and like did like movements.
Oh yeah.
Like, I don't know what games that worked with, but I just remember that being a thing. Or the what was the Sega Genesis one? The Activator, that big octagon that you would stand in the middle for like Mortal Kombat. You would actually have to punch or kick.
Gosh, yeah.
It was ridiculous stuff.
Anyways, yeah, we'll have to talk about that stuff.
We'll see if we can acquire some of those
Yeah,
things.
acquire some of that, or like
maybe
just go through the tech.
We'll figure out. I have a Genesis and a Sega Saturn at home. Like
really?
maybe we can try and figure out how to stream like Genesis stuff. I don't know if I have the right stuff for that or not.
It's possible. We just have to have some converters.
Yeah, I don't know if I have the right stuff for that, but I think we probably.
I don't, but we can get it. That exists. Yeah, let's get the components and then.
Or I mean, we can emulators.
Emulators is just how it ends up doing it anyway. It's for testing.
Yeah.
If you own the copy, and that's what it's for.
Fine.
So that's pretty much it for Yestercon.
It was a good time.
It was a good time. It was short and sweet, intimate. There were some cool people that showed up. There was a Ranger. There was Ninja Turtles. We met some people we knew, and it was good times.
So it's fun. I like those smaller conventions because like you run into people that you know, and you can actually have time to be like, oh hey, how's it going? And not wait, I got it. I need to go over there.
Oh yeah,
I gotta go that way. Sorry.
Yeah.
So
you can actually spend time looking at stuff and talking to people.
Yeah.
Supporting old small businesses, which I did. I bought a cactar.
Nice.
From Final Fantasy. I like to say 7 because that's when I first saw it.
Yeah, I was gonna say
as a summon.
Yeah. That was
7
the first.
And 8.
7 was the first Final Fantasy game that I actually played.
I used to have one of these. I bought it in Japan years ago. Apparently, this is a reprint. They just remade them again. You couldn't get them again.
Oh really?
So I was like, oh really? Okay, I'm getting it. But I was like, I used to have one, and the arms were bendy. It was a little bit bigger. And I was like, I made that.
Do you think it's weird that like, I mean, I guess it's not really weird because it's that whole nostalgia thing, but like, you'll be someplace and be like, oh, I used to have one of those things, and then you'll be like, it's $40. Yeah, sure, I paid $3 for this thing, 12 years ago, but I want it again, so I'm gonna pay you like $40 now for the same thing.
Yeah, that's what I did. I got him back. I gave it to an ex-girlfriend as a way of showing how much I loved her because she knew how much I liked it, and it was such a big part of me. It was like my demonstration of investing in something I had no control over, and it's gone.
I think. Do you see it too? Am I tearing up?
The smallest violin. So should we go on to the main
let's
subject?
The main event, if you will. Star Trek Beyond, third movie in the franchise. So, what was different about this movie than other movies?
You see if I'm gonna say it wrong. The Barco Escape experience.
What have you been calling it?
Bosco.
Isn't that like chocolate milk?
I don't know.
No, that's Ovaltine. I don't know why I was thinking of
I guess
Bosco. I don't know what Bosco is.
but Barco Escape Experience.
So Barco, for those of you guys who don't know, they're a company that makes projectors and projector technology, screens, and all that kind of stuff. If you have ever been to Disney World and you saw like the Dream Along with Mickey or the like any of the things that they show on Cinderella's Castle where they project the images on there and it looks like things are breaking through, like with it's called pixel mapping, so that it looks like it's like in the castle.
Oh, okay.
Those are all Barco projectors for the most part. Some places that do that use a company called Christie. None of you guys really give a shit about that though, so I'm not gonna get into like the differences of all
It's
that.
interesting you know this.
I used to work at a place.
I don't remember.
So
if I ever need to know.
So Barco came up with this thing called Barco Escape, where it is a multi-screen theatrical movie-going experience.
Mm-hmm.
For Star Trek Beyond, as you can see up there above my head,
Mm-hmm.
there are 3 screens. There's the center screen where most of the action happens, the screen on the left, and the screen on the right. For some of the bigger installations, there's a 4th and a 5th screen. One, you can't see my hand here because it's behind the picture, but there's one above it and then one below it too. And it's just like this big, all-encompassing thing.
I have another picture here that shows it.
Yeah, so that shows it a little bit better. This one is a little bit different than what we saw because this, looking at the picture now, maybe it's because of the angle that the picture is taken at, but it looks like the side screens are more of a 90-degree angle.
Yeah.
Whereas in what we watched, they were more of like a 45, maybe like a 30-degree angle coming out.
It could be just a small. It looks like it's just a smaller theater too.
Yeah, that's also entirely possible. Now, I had a few issues with this.
Mm-hmm.
Let's kill that big image in the middle of my face there. So it was in concept a good idea. But like for me, did you notice the seams? Like between the screens?
Not kinda. Yeah.
So
yeah. But
the 2 smaller screens on the 2 screens on the side weren't as big as the main screen. So you could see like a little bit of the main screen on the top and a little bit of main screen on the bottom, and you could see where the side screens ended. So there was a seam there where it definitively went from the side to the middle. It wasn't like if you go to see like an IMAX dome where it just like wraps around.
Yeah.
Like there were like legit edges where you could see the ending of it. So it was like having multi-monitors and trying to like have a window between the monitors where it just looks weird because you're looking at the bevel.
Yeah.
Or bezel. You're looking at the bezel of the screens.
Or the crack.
Yeah, or the crack. So for me, that was a little bit of an issue. And every once in a while, it looked like they were misaligned. So like there were you would see things that were supposed to be below the image like this, but like once I was like slightly above. So that made it a little weird for me. Like, did you notice any of that?
A little bit. I was too into it to really get too bothered by it. But I did notice.
Oh, so I'm the asshole.
No. You just no. You're right. Like you could notice it. But I don't think it really ruined my experience.
No, it did. I don't think it ruined my experience either because I liked the movie.
Yeah, I loved the movie. It was great.
But it was like one of those things where I would have preferred to see it either in IMAX, where it is just like the one big giant screen, and every once in a while it would go from like the letterbox the letterbox to the 4x3, because I feel like that would have been less distracting than when they punched in on the picture and you could tell that it wasn't shot for a larger format, so you can see like the artifacting in it.
There was a couple scenes like
that. And because of the angles, so now you've got a ship that you're punched in on that's flying forward and it's all converging in the middle. So like it was warped. Yeah. So like it would go like the aspect ratio.
I wonder how much of it is the seating too. That seating would definitely make a difference.
Probably, but we were pretty close to the middle.
We had pretty good seats, right?
Yeah,
I think
you got it.
We're right.
You're good with that.
I mean, for those who don't, we didn't talk about this, but they also make additional footage for the Barco Escape experience.
Yeah, so there were scenes where like they were talking on like the bridge of the ship or something,
That was cool.
and you would see like the side screens were almost like windows, so you saw like stars like flying past you on the side, and that was cool. And I feel like that would have been a better experience for me if like the screens were completely separate. Like so instead of like making it look like the two screens on the side were like coming out of the main screen, if there was like an actual space between them, because then it would have been like they were windows. So instead of,
I interpreted that scene a little differently, and I loved it because what it was is first they showed the ship doing warp, right?
Right.
Going the warp travel, and they had the weird cloudy dreamy effects going around it, and it spilled over to both of the side screens, and then they changed scenes to inside the ship,
right,
where Kirk's having a conversation with someone, but they kept the side screens going.
Right.
He's still going through warp drive, but you can see it in that scene. The window behind them, they're still going through it too.
Yeah, which is
and I thought that was kind of cool because it was just like having lights behind your monitors.
Yeah, exactly. So like
it was kind of like and it kind of felt like
which is why for me like
we're flying.
Steal this pillow. So I think it would have been like if you were looking at me,
and
then like there were like this screen over here and this screen over here, and there was other stuff going on out there, but like I'm the main action.
Yeah.
Like I think that would have been better than like this.
I see what you mean. I see what you mean.
Now you've got these two weird things popping out the side of my face.
Yeah.
And you're like, what the fuck's going on?
I think it would have been even a little better if we were almost more in the center.
Maybe
in that type of setup.
That might have helped too.
Because then you just kind of like you're literally in it. But I still felt like you were in it more than.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And I mean, like I said, I enjoyed the movie. That just kind of distracted me a little bit from it because I was like,
yeah.
Oh, all right.
There were some scenes that worked better than others. Like
absolutely,
you said,
yeah.
Like there were some where it's like I would think about it. It would catch me. I was like, did they actually film it in that way? Because it seemed like they did create. There were definitely scenes where they created additional side content.
Yeah, but then it seemed like there were other scenes where they just like
how did they
blew it up?
Yeah. I was like, did they just blow it up? Because it seemed a little less clear.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. Like you can see
it was
just it was weird.
But,
I don't know.
But considering the price of it was the same as a normal ticket.
Yeah.
As far as I know.
Yeah, it was like $15. I
was like, it was worth it. It was cool. Just to see some extra footage and get a cool, different experience. And it helps that the movie was awesome, which we'll get to.
Yeah. But, overall, if I had to say yay or nay to the Barco Escape, I won't go see another movie in that format for a while. Like until I hear that they've either made some adjustments or if it's one where it has the top screen and the bottom screen because it's like some other kind of like event type thing. So I'll go to check that out.
It's like some scene where someone's jumping off a cliff or something, and then they expand it to the top of the
vertical
screen.
But like if I hear they just made they shot some extra footage for Star Wars and they're showing that and I'd be like, no, I'll go see it in IMAX.
Oh. See if I know the movie was made with additional footage for Barco, I can't help but like, especially if I like the movie. I'll
like if it was if it's like for me this is like almost like movies that are shot in 3D versus movies that are converted to 3D.
Yeah.
Movies that are shot in 3D always look better. They always look better because everything has depth to it. Mm-hmm. Whereas movies that are converted, you can see where they pull out the layers. And some of the things in the background look a little flat. Where it looks, it's more like you're in a theater and they've just like set up like all these flat pieces of scenery. Yeah. Like you can see that there's depth there, but
like a 3D book.
Right, but you can see it, but it just looks flat. Whereas movies that are shot in 3D, like Avatar, there was a lot of CG in that too.
It makes you jump.
But like it added to the atmosphere. Like it actually looked like there was depth there. Like everything had, like there'd be a flower, and you could see the front and the back of the flower. It wasn't just like there was this flat flower sitting somewhere in between us.
Yeah.
Like it actually
the flower itself has 2 or 3 layers to it.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So I mean, yeah, like I said, I'd be hesitant to go see another movie in this format again anytime soon, but I'd be willing to give it another shot at some point in the future, depending
Yeah.
on what it is.
Yeah, I think I'm hopeful, and I assume that over time there's just gonna be movies that will have more and more content for it, or people will think of more creative ways to use it. Like that one scene we talked about in the within the deck, and they had the warp effects on the side. I thought that was really cool. That
Yeah,
they
Daniel.
added-
Sorry, Daniel on YouTube just said that sucks, and I mean,
he was talking about before about the seams.
oh yeah. Sorry, I just saw that now. Yeah, the thing with the seams was just weird. I don't even know why they would choose to do that.
It was those side screens were a lot bigger than I thought they would be. When
They were
when
long.
we walked in, I was like,
really long.
I was like, whoa! It was like almost like your head could hit into it when you walked in the theater. I was like, whoa, what the okay? And then like,
Yeah. Well, because you can see that they were hung,
I could touch them.
Yeah, like they were almost like an afterthought. Like they were like, all right, well, how are we going to do this? Oh, let's just hang screens there. Yeah.
They were definitely just like put on there. But yeah. Overall, I give Barco Escape experience. It was at least try it once.
Yeah.
With a movie like this.
Yeah, with a movie like this, I would recommend going to see it for the experience, to see, you know, like if you've seen the movie already and you're like, hey, I want to go see it again, go see it in this, because it'll be different, and it'll make going to see it again more of an experience than just going to see the movie again.
Definitely.
It'd be like, you know, if I went to, like, Star Wars, like when I go see Star Wars, if I can't see it in 3D, I'll go see it again in 3D, just because it's gonna need it.
Yeah. So what do you think about the movie itself?
The movie itself, I was really worried about it going into it, because a lot of people were saying, oh well, you know, it's not as Star Trek-y as some of these as you know, like some of the original movies were, and that they're trying to dumb it down a little bit for the mainstream audience, and that, you know, it's Justin Lin, so it's going to be like more like Fast and the Furious with, you know, like no plot and just action. I liked it.
I'm hearing all this for the first time. I didn't bother reading up on any reviews or anything.
I mean, it has like I don't remember what the exact ratings are on Rotten Tomatoes or Metacritic, but
it was like 84.
Yeah. Last I checked, it was in the mid 80s, and I would agree with that score. Like, it was fun. There was nothing.
High bacon and eggs.
Nothing like that took me out of this movie. I was like, oh well, that was stupid. Why did they do that? You know, there were typical movie problems with it, but not the kind like the last one, Into Darkness. Did you see Into Darkness?
Yes, I did.
What did you think?
I don't remember much about it.
Exactly.
It was forgettable. I don't really remember. I just remember there was just some disgruntled ex dude, and yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, you know,
I remember the last scene.
It was basically the Wrath of Khan, and they changed it up a little bit because they're in a new timeline. So I'm like, okay, so in this one, spoiler alert, I guess if you guys haven't seen it, but this movie's been out for like 3 years now, so sorry. And Wrath of Khan's been out for like 35 years now, so you had your chance. So in the original Wrath of Khan, Spock dies saving everyone. And in Into Darkness, they flipped it, and Kirk dies saving everyone, because the good of the many outweighs the good of the few. So they both sacrifice themselves for the good of everyone else. And I felt like it was. I don't remember him dying. That's not forgettable. Because they brought him back in the same movie. In Wrath of Khan, Spock dies. That sets up Star Trek III: The Search for Spock. Like, there's a whole another movie, and then that movie tied into the fourth movie where they went back in time to get the sperm whales so that they could save Earth in the future. Like, like 3 movies tied together. That doesn't happen, like, unless it's like movies that are based off of books now, like, you know, like Harry Potter and like fucking Twilight and all that bullshit. That like all ties together because it has to, because they're books. But like, I feel like with those original Star Trek movies, so yeah, Star Trek the motion picture, which kind of stood on its own. But then you had Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan, which brought back a character from the original series. Then the third movie went back and tied directly into that, where it was search for Spock. Because they launched Spock down to the Genesis planet, and now he's like reborn. So they're trying to get they're working on getting him back. And then the fourth movie, Spock is fully grown up now, and he's remembering everything, and he's turning back into a person. He's he's relearning everything over again. And then this thing happens on Earth, and they go and they try and like see what the satellite's doing, and they find out that they have to talk to sperm whales because this alien ship came here like so many years ago, thousands of years ago, and it talks to sperm whales. So now sperm whales are extinct. So they are in this Romulan warbird now because of what happened in the third movie, and the Enterprise was destroyed. So they used the Romulan warbird to go back in time to pick up a sperm whale to bring it back to the future. And by the end of the fourth movie, they have a new ship again. So going into Star Trek V, now they're back on the Enterprise.
Wow. So what I got is sperm whales in space.
And Star Trek Into Darkness just kind of...
Just tried to just simplify it.
Yeah. I'm glad, though, that this third movie went into a different direction. Didn't try to rehash any of the old plot lines from any of the old movies.
Which is safe, because you can't... It's hard to... How can you redo a classic? I mean,
yeah, well, that's the thing. Like, Wrath of Khan, so many people loved it, which is one of the reasons why Into Darkness got so much hate. And this one, I feel, was a huge, huge step in the right direction by going outside of what we had seen before. That we are in this new timeline, so everything is different. So we should be getting new stories instead of rehashing old stories, because now it's different because we're in a different timeline. So, oops, now they have to go and get or it was a humpback whale. They were humpback whales, not sperm whales. So now, in this new timeline, it'll be, oh, well, now we have to go get sperm whales instead of humpback whales because the timeline's different. Stupid.
This was my favorite Star Trek movie of the new ones.
I agree. I agree. Like
this movie could be a standalone movie on its own too.
Yeah.
You don't have to watch any other Star Trek movie, TV show, anything. You could just watch this by itself, get it, enjoy it, and be happy.
The opening scene where Kirk is talking about having been out in space for so long and starting to feel like nothing's moving and doesn't know where he's going, because that set up the entire premise right there. So not having seen like the 2009 Star Trek or Into Darkness at that point is completely irrelevant, because just from that voiceover, you know where his head's at. You know what's going on. You know that he's on a spaceship. You know that he's the captain, and you know that he's having like questioning where his place is in Star Trek.
Like the purpose of what they're doing.
Right.
Because that's what I agree with you. That the beginning, like the first, I don't know, 1/4 of the movie, really set the tone for not only this movie but all the future movies. The fact that, hey, we're here, and our mission is to go out and explore and make peace with other aliens and just put everyone into the fold and just check out uncharted territories.
Right.
And the way they did that and showed it, just like everything's set up and going, it was just, I don't know, it was really fun for me. I really liked seeing all that stuff.
Yeah, and that, I think that's what Star Trek does right. When Star Trek does,
he even mentioned, like, it feels like my life is episodic.
Yeah.
He's like I don't know the difference between days anymore, and it's like almost every day is this, like a new episode where it's like, oh, we just discovered a new planet or a new people and a new issue, a new peace treaty, a new fight, a new whatever. And then it's like
I know
it was set up to be like.
I know people would bitch about the fact that J.J. Abrams did the first Star Trek, and that it felt more like a Star Wars movie. Now he's doing Star Wars, so it's like, oh, well, he just wanted to turn Star Trek into Star Wars. But what Star Wars does well is it has a variety of the emotional spectrum within the one movie. Yes. You have the fun, you have the laughter, you have the serious moments, you have the action, you have like the character development, and all of these things come together perfectly. And I think that's what this movie had, was you had this opening scene that
Yeah.
where it wasn't a downer, but you knew right up front that okay, well, Captain Kirk is questioning where he's at in the universe, and then you see the interaction between Uhura and Spock. And you're like, okay, he's in a similar place, and like you can see that there's all these like pieces that are trying to come together, but don't necessarily know where they're supposed to be yet.
It's funny, like this movie could have been the first movie.
Yes, absolutely.
Of the first new subject.
Yeah, and
going back to what you're saying about the structure and stuff, like, and with Star Wars, because like when I see the two, they're of course totally different, but also similar in the world being developed. I like that in the beginning, this movie they really showed and developed like what the world is. These are what the humans are like in the world.
Speaking about
the
worlds,
technology. This is how advanced we are. Like
so
everything's set up.
The first new world that we saw was when Kirk was doing this. He was offering this peace treaty to the
very beginning of the movie.
To the race of aliens.
Yeah.
So when you saw that, and so just to kind of explain what I'm talking about here, because it was. This was great. This is the point where during the movie I was like, all right, I'm in. Captain Kirk is standing in the middle of this room. It actually almost kind of looks like the Senate room from Star Wars, from like the episode 2 or whatever. But these are all the same aliens that are all standing around Kirk and looking down, and he's offering this peace treaty this gift. It's a gift because he's trying to broker peace between these two species, and the camera zooms in on one of these aliens who starts, asking questions about where they got it from.
Yeah, he's all up like
right in your face,
looking down at Kirk like, what? What do you mean? These guys are gonna murder us in our sleep. What do you mean they want peace? Blah 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 blah.
And then he's like, no. They want to make peace. They're just it's a gift. It's a present. And then this dude, alien guy, like curls up in a ball and rolls down like this, like chute, like almost like if you know from like the pictures like the Coliseum, like the tubes that they built in for like the acoustics.
Yeah.
So it was almost like a slide, and he's rolling down it like a boulder, or coming at Kirk, and then he's like this big.
He was like, what?
And then all of them start going down. It was like he was being attacked by like birds or something.
Like little gremlins.
Yeah. It was like he was being attacked by gremlins. And they beam him out, and a couple of them go with him, and it's just now they're chasing them all over the ship, and it was fun.
It actually made me want to go back and watch the TV series. Because
Wait, which series have you seen? Have you seen?
I've seen some of Next Generation.
Okay.
There growing up, but I was too young to appreciate a sophisticated story like that of peace and all that. I was in the Star Wars. Now I'm like,
because that's another thing with Star Trek up until like Enterprise, like the show. I mean, so you had the original series that was on the 60s, like late 60s. So of course it was like super low tech. There's guys in rubber suits and like hand drawn effects on the film. Yeah. Not we're not talking Avatar here.
Mm-hmm.
Then 1987, Next Generation comes out. Technology has advanced a little bit. They introduced the holodeck thing, and you've got Data, who's like an android, and like all this other stuff. But it's still people in rubber suits, and with some better effects.
Yeah.
Deep Space Nine and Voyager kind of built on top of that, and everything kept getting better and better. And now you've got these movies where like this movie takes place before like Next Generation. But the technology looks so much more advanced because of how far we've advanced with special effects. And it
makes sense for humanity.
Yeah.
If we were at that point in deep space travel.
Oh, absolutely.
We would have all that technology.
But so now going back and watching those shows, it's all about the story because the eye candy stuff.
Yeah.
You know, watching it that you're not going to have that, so you actually have to pay attention to the story. So either the stories are going to be good or they're not going to be good. So it's going to be so you not having seen any of that stuff. I'm kind of interested to see what
I think now.
what you think about those, because back when those were on, people were watching them and it was eye candy. It was like, oh my god, look at that monster, or oh my god, look at that giant space creature that's coming after them, because no one had seen like those kind of effects before. So that's like an interesting experiment.
Thank you, Cutie Pie. She called me a husky and said that's the highest compliment possible for a human being.
One of my old roommates had a husky, and it had one green eye and one blue eye.
Oh, that's so awesome,
right?
It had chroma.
The mutant thing that Xavier was talking about.
Yeah, I want an animal with that, or a girlfriend or something.
But what's kind of weird though about that is that animals that have that are usually you can get like if you're
humans have it too.
Yeah. But if you're like going out, you're like, okay, I want to go get a dog and I want to get a husky. I want a purebred husky. You're gonna have to buy it. You can't get those typically you can't get those from a shelter. You either have to get them from a breeder.
Heterochromia.
Heterochromia. Right. That's what it is.
Thank you, Cutie Pie in Africa chat.
But animals that have that are usually cheaper because they're like, oh well, that's
it's not as pure.
It's not as pure, right? Exactly. So. Like actually wanting one of those, you can probably find one.
Yeah. Awesome. Good. That's good to know. Next time I'll look at.
You can get a dog in here. You have room.
Yeah, I have room. I'm alone. Back to Star Trek. Well, also what I liked about it, it reminded me of Mass Effect.
Yes.
That type of detail to humans' advancement and just, I mean, I'm sure scientists can poke holes at things, but at least in general, from my perspective, the way they had everything kind of explained and set up was just so fun. And that's what I loved about Mass Effect, is explaining realistically how humanity could have expanded into space.
Right. Well,
and our interactions with other races for the first time, and
that was
saw humans as a lower because you just got to deep space. You young.
Yeah. Now, I will say that the one thing that coming out of this movie where I was like, because you remember I was talking about rehashing the old stories.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen Star Trek Insurrection?
I know I've seen a couple of those.
It was the second to the last one from the Next Generation. So the last one that came out was Nemesis.
I remember a Borg one once.
So with Insurrection, they had to go into what was called the Briar Patch.
Okay.
And this was an area of space where communication was very limited, and there were a few planets in there, and only one of them was inhabited. This planet that was inhabited inside the Briar Patch, because of the unique radiation that was inside the Briar Patch, the atmosphere of this planet caused the people who were on the planet to not age.
Oh.
And not only did it make it so that they didn't age, they also kind of de-aged a little bit too. So like if they went in and they were like, I don't know, like 60 years old, after a few years on this planet, they would be, they would look like they were in their prime. So they were like mid-30s or whatever.
That's cool.
But then there was a group of them that splintered off. They were like, we want to go and explore the universe. So they went off and explored the universe, but then they realized that after leaving the planet, they started aging.
Mm-hmm.
So now they want to do everything that they could to, to restore their youth, because they were like, oh well, now we're old. So they had all the surgery done to them. They had like their faces stretched and shit to make it, so that they didn't have all these wrinkles and whatever.
So they went to Hot Beverly Hills.
Yeah. And the conflict was because this new species, or this race of people that had splintered off from the original group, wanted to harvest this radiation from the planet and use that to restore their health and restore their youth. But now there were these, the people who had originally established a civilization on this planet. They lived there.
Yeah.
So by harvesting all that stuff, they would kill basically everyone on the planet.
Huh.
So in this movie, they went into a nebula.
Yeah.
Where communication was not really possible with the
Mhm.
outside world.
Mhm.
And you had a bad guy who kind of had a similar thing.
Huh.
So,
Interesting.
there is a similarity there, but this movie
Mhm.
did that storyline better. I enjoyed Insurrection, but I think this movie was a better version of that story. So I'm okay with it because a lot of people were complaining, like at least the Star Trek fans were complaining. Oh well, this is very similar to this movie, and it's another bad guy that's like this. So
We don't want to spoil it, but I see what you mean. Yeah.
but that being said, this movie
was amazing.
What was good?
It was so
it
solid.
was really good.
You watch it on its own.
I like that they brought back the Beastie Boys soundtrack. Like, if you remember, in 2009, the one of the very first scenes in that had Captain Kirk as like a 13-year-old kid stole his father's car. His father was voiced by Greg Grunberg, who's Snap Wexley in Star Wars, and he worked at Yorktown in the space station. Like he was the guy in the like the bigger guy. That was in like the
yeah.
Because him and JJ
The
were
control
friends.
room,
Yeah, so he puts him in all his movies.
I thought I recognized him.
Yeah. But so Kirk at 13 years old is driving down the street, flying down the street, I should say, in this old car. BC Boys Sabotage just like blasting out of it, and then they bring it back for that action scene in this, and I was like, all right, I'm sold.
I remember that scene.
This is great.
That was like a big part of their marketing material.
Yeah.
The revamp of Star Trek.
Yeah, and it's just
young Kirk.
I enjoyed that callback because also that song is just great. Like you do anything with that.
That was a very cool scene when they had that. Well, it wasn't Beast Boys. I was thinking Rage Against the Machine, but when they brought back classical music is what they called it in this movie.
yeah.
It was like Rage Against the Machine.
Well, I enjoyed how they brought that back too, where they were like, oh well, we can disrupt their sensors by using a high-pitched frequency of some kind. Well, what about VHF? We can do that. I've got just the thing.
Yeah.
And so they pull out, but it's basically an MP3 player, like futuristic MP3 player, and they.
And I think it was like, Sulu was like, yeah, and he's like, oh, you like classical music? He's like, yeah.
Yeah, and then that girl was like, I've got a song, and then Kirk is just sitting there. Good choice.
Yeah, that was
great.
It was a solid movie. I love it. I think I would watch it again in the theater. Like if there's a bunch of friends that wanted to go, and I had time.
Yeah, I think I think this will be a movie that when it comes out on Blu-ray, I'll pick it up.
Yeah.
Because like, again, I'll off topic a little bit. I bought Batman v Superman, the Ultimate Edition, last week when it came out.
Yeah.
And I've been trying to watch it for a week. I keep falling asleep or getting distracted because it's boring. Like when this movie came out and I saw it in the theater, I was like, all right, it's not as bad as everyone says that it was.
But watching it at home.
But now I'm watching it and I'm like, I'm like, and then I pull up my laptop and I start digging around on Facebook or start Googling shit. And then the next thing I know, I'm like an hour and a half into the movie, I'm like, shit.
I'm curious to see the extended scenes there.
That's why I picked it up.
Explain things.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And like as it is now, I don't remember the theatrical cut enough to tell you what's new and what's not.
I would watch it again I wouldn't watch it in the theater again, but I would.
Oh, sorry, PewDiePie. We're talking about. I changed subjects briefly. I'm talking about Batman v Superman. It came out. The Ultimate Edition came out on DVD last Tuesday, and I picked it up, and I've been trying to watch it. And I feel like I wasted my money now because I haven't been able to watch it yet because I keep getting distracted.
Oh man.
Back to Star Trek. Sorry for that sidetrack there.
Sidetrack back to Star Trek Beyond.
There's a side trek.
There's a sidetrack.
There's a side trek. That's what I'm gonna call these now. I'm not getting sidetracked. I'm going on side
Sidetrack.
tracks.
That's what Channel 42 is about. Allowing sidetracks to occur.
So, final verdict.
Final verdict. I was like, should I just give a score or a what? It was awesome. I love it. It was. I highly recommend it to everyone. Like everyone should see it.
I agree. This is a fantastic movie. I really enjoyed it. It was a return to form for the Star Trek movies. I'm glad that Simon Pegg came on board as a writer.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping that he will come back for the next one because I know like one of the things that people were complaining about again before this movie even came out was that Simon Pegg came out. He's like, oh, well, I'm trying to make this movie a little bit less Star Trek-y than all the other ones. They're like, less Star Trek-y? What does that mean? Like, that's what makes Star Trek, is it being Star Trek-y.
People start freaking out.
Yeah. And this movie was Star Trek-y.
Like, I felt like it was more Star Trek than the other two movies.
I agree. This one had, it was questioning a lot about, what it means to be human.
Yeah, and what the heck are they doing?
And what, what's your
in the
place
very
in
beginning of the
universe?
movie,
Yeah.
Kirk's question, he's like, every day is becoming a blur. Every day is a new episode. It's the same thing. He's like, but what is the purpose of this? He's like, there's infinite amounts of space and galaxies. It's never gonna end. I'm gonna keep trying to make peace.
and that tied into the what the villain's motivation was. Like the villain used to be a military guy, and
spoiler.
Well, I mean,
kind of.
I mean, you can tell that he's a military guy.
Yeah,
he's attacking people with ships.
They're an army.
Yeah, he's in an army, and his thing is that Starfleet has become soft. That they're trying to make peace with people, and peace isn't how you progress as a species. You progress as a species through struggle.
Yeah. You need struggles in order to gain.
And it's almost like the Klingons, where like the Klingons are all about today is a good day to die. Like it's all about battle and like progressing through battling with other people. Whereas he feels that Starfleet is like, no, we gotta make friends with everyone because why do we want to fight with people? Let's not fight with people. Let's be friends.
Mm-hmm.
But not realizing that trying to make friends with other people can sometimes be a struggle.
Yeah.
Like what happened in the beginning with that original race.
Yeah.
Was
they
didn't
believe the other race the other species wanted peace.
So I think it tied all of the aspects together. The main conflict tied into the beginning and the end of the movie. Like there was
a very good balance of...
Yeah, like, I felt that if there were any plot holes in this, they weren't, like, really... Like, they didn't stand out. It wasn't like, oh, well, that was dumb. Why did they do that? When they could have just flipped the switch.
It was tight. Everything was solid.
Yeah, everything made sense.
I feel like it was one of those movies that I could see why people could think it was dumbed down. I don't think it was. I think it was just done so well that everyone could understand it and get what's going on and enjoy it. And those who appreciate more depth and detail can see it, but it's not a requirement.
And I think
that's all that.
And that's why I think that's why I had that score. Yeah. Like I'm looking up on Metacritic now, just so you don't think I'm looking down and looking up porn or whatever.
That's fine.
That's a different stream. Alright, so Star Trek Beyond. On Metacritic, it has an average score of 6.8 out of 10, or a 68. So, I mean, it's not great, but that's better than a lot of things on Rotten Tomatoes. Let me see.
Well, the Rotten Tomatoes score, it's like... That's a pretty big indicator for me.
Looking at the user reviews and even like some of the critic reviews, HitFix, 100. User reviews, 10, 8, 7. 6. So the top 5 here that's got listed, that's 2 10s, an 8, a 7, and a 6.
Anyone who gave it a poor review just wants attention.
And the Empire gave it an 80 out of 100. New York Magazine, Vulture, gave it an 80. Los Angeles Times, whatever, they gave it a 70. Rotten Tomatoes.
Not at all, Cutie Pie. Thanks for being here with us.
Let's see.
I'm
Brian.
talking to Africa chat. I wasn't calling Josh cutie pie.
Thank you for clarifying that. Star Trek Beyond. It's sitting at 83 on Rotten Tomatoes right now. 84% on the audience score.
Dude, that's amazing.
So, I mean...
There's movies that are like 40, 50 that I love.
Yeah, let's see what else came out this past weekend. Jason Bourne is at 57%. And I hear a lot of people saying that was actually fun. Ghostbusters is at 73. Finding Dory is at 94.
Okay.
So, like that...
Tarzan 35.
Yeah, out of everything that's in the top of the box office right now, Star Trek and Finding Dory are at the top.
Top 2.
Followed by Lights Out, which is a horror movie, at 77. Secret Life of Pets, animated movie, 74. And then Ghostbusters, 73. The movies that people are looking forward to, Sausage Party is at 100%. Hell or High Water is at 100. And then that thing with Meryl Streep that I have no idea what it is.
Pete's Dragon.
Florence Foster Jenkins is at 92, and then Pete's Dragon is at 81, and it's a Disney movie. So I think my point is that you should go see Star Trek because it's a good, fun movie, and I want to hear what you guys think about it.
Yeah, let us know in the comments below what you guys think of the movie if you saw it. If you agree with us, disagree. And
yeah, like if you want to know that, if you think that this movie was a piece of shit, I want to know why. I want to fight about it. Not like this is a fight about it, but like I want to debate. You can hit us up here, like you say, you can hit us up in the comments on either YouTube or on Africa. You can hit me up on Twitter at the Goldman. Come at me, bro.
Yeah.
Like tell me that you really liked it, and like validate me. I need validation. Tell me that I'm right.
Validate me by liking my pictures.
I don't hear that enough during the day. You can also find both me and Brian and Taylor when he gets back. He's had to take a little bit of a hiatus, but he'll be back with us in a few weeks. You can find us all on Twitter for Channel 42 at the Channel 42 TG Channel 42.
And there's links to social media for Channel 42, both here on this Africa TV channel and on the YouTube channel. And through that, if you check out the tweets or whatever, you'll see both Josh and I tagged on, today's post, for example. Yeah. And you can find us that way too.
Facebook, facebook.com/channel42. And I don't do a good enough job of posting on there, but I will try and do better.
Yeah, this is a new channel. We're getting there. It's fun. We're building on it.
I can't neglect my hashtag duties. It's like, we've got a lot going on with that, which you guys should also subscribe to that hashtag show on YouTube. We've got a ton of footage from San Diego Comic-Con that's coming out. Pop Culture Renegades, where you can find Brian's Yestercon footage that should be coming out soon-ish.
And some Comic-Con stuff.
Yeah,
there's at least one reaction.
Yeah, there's still some stuff from E3. There's still some stuff from WonderCon that's coming out. I think we got through all the Silicon Valley stuff because that was like 5 months ago. Yeah. Really, dude, looking forward to next year though. Trying to get us a party there, so we'll see. If anyone from Silicon Valley Comic Con is watching, we want to do your after party because you need one, and we want to do it. So yeah, I guess I'll do it for this week.
That's it for today.
Find us on social media, talk to us in the comments, talk to us on Twitter, talk to us on Facebook.
Let us know if there's something you'd like us to talk about, if you'd like to hear our opinions on, or something coming out that you want us to see, to discuss, whether it's a movie or an animation or whatever.
If you're in the LA area, that hashtag show is going to be at Power Morphicon, the biggest Power Rangers convention in the United States, which is in Pasadena, August 12th through 14th. We have a booth. I'll be there, so you can come see me, say hi. Brian will probably show up at some point. You can come see him, say hi. Tell him that he's an idiot. Tell him that he's great. Whatever. Tell him that he's both. He's a fantastic idiot. I don't know.
So, thank you. We'll see you guys next week. And, subscribe so you'll know what we're doing next.
On Africa, you can find our broadcast schedule every Monday night, 9 o'clock. YouTube, I can't really do that. So YouTube people, you should get on making a schedule. But we'll talk to you guys later.
That's why Africa's better.
Your mouse isn't working.
Do, 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 do.